we have a lot of basketball news to get to, so we just got to get straight to it. Jacque Vaughn was interim coach of the Brooklyn Nets. Now he's the full-time head coach. Excuse me. What do you think about this? Right now, the Nets are 2-2, 500 under his tenure. Do you think this is a good move by the organization?
Yeah, I think it's a stabilizing move. It was my first thought, which is with all the chaos swirling around with Kyrie Irving and everything else. I mean, let's just put it out there. There was talk of them hiring out of the gate Ime Udoka. That was the name that came up. He was a former Steve Nash assistant. Kevin Durant really liked him. That was the direction they were going to go. But this is a guy who was suspended for a year for an improper relationship in Boston, affair that had all sorts of stuff around it. We don't have the full picture, but it was enough that the Celtics said, hey, our coach that took us to the finals last year, we're suspending him for the year. Like, it was that serious. Can you imagine the blowback, Corey, if they just hired him? So in that sense, I think Udoka's, he's a good, solid coach, but it avoids, that would have been such a PR disaster, Corey.
And this is also the whole concept for Sean Marks. He grew up he's very well, I would say, educated in the Spurs system, right? Yeah. And so Ime Udoka also coming from that family tree as far as like a school of thought. But guess what? Jacque Vaughn also came from that school of thought. So you're right. I feel like if you're looking at a stabilizing move, but still want to get back to what made the Nets the desirable destination that made Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant want to go there in the first place, building that core team that Sean Marks was doing so well back a couple of years ago, you just get back to what works, right? And this is just like anything else. When you start hitting a really tough area, or you start hitting adversity, that's the word everyone likes to use. Just return to the fundamentals. And I think Sean Marks and the organization is doing exactly that. Like, what got us here? Like, let's go back to square one. Stable moves that are in line with like what we learned from the Spurs organization, from all of our tenures. And I think this is actually a very good move. And remember, we talked about before, Kurt, I think what happened in Atlanta is going to happen here.